I've been customizing Squishmallows for a long time. This is my series that I started earlier this year after I ran into some Squishmallows at Five Below. I just thought it was cool that Five Below even had Squishmallows, so I picked a couple up. I didn't know if it would do well or if you guys would like the Squishmallow videos. It was literally just a shot in the dark. It's not something I found anywhere or took inspiration from anyone. I just kind of started this entire series kind of on accident, to be honest. I've done a lot of stuff with Squishmallows. This time around when I went to Five Below for some Squishmallow hunting, I didn't pick out my favorite Squishmallows. Instead, I grabbed some mystery ones. So today, not only will I be unboxing Squishmallows, I'll also be painting on mystery Squishmallows in my creepy cute, derpy kind of style. Another day, another shopping haul at Five Below. While I was there, I came across tons of mystery Squishmallows. Well, not tons. There was only 11 of them. So I just grabbed them all, emptied the whole lot. The cashier could barely believe his eyes. I have no idea if these all contain different ones or if there's gonna be a lot of repeats. I guess we're about to find out. I'm only going to be giving a makeover to 3 of these Squishmallows. The rest I'm gonna save for my personal collection.
Oh my god, they smell terrible. Oh my god. God, I hate this one.
The first one I got is a cat. Typically, I love cats. I have a soft spot for them.
I love you.
But this cat, there's something off about it. Speaking of something being off, my apartment is covered in cat toys. Can you find these 3 cat toys littered throughout this video? Please let me know so I can put them away. But anyways, like I was saying, the cat has a pastel watercolor situation going on, which is fine. I can live with that. What I can't live with are those eyes. There's something so creepy about them. They're trying to be cute, they're just not achieving it at all. Giving off strong, disturbing sparkle butt vibes. I'll definitely have to fix that mess. Yikes. I'm gonna be using a scrap of black felt to make a little witch's hat. I have tons of felt. I've even saved some scraps. So here we are. I don't know if this cat has a name. Usually Squishmallows come with name tags. I didn't see one this time around though. I guess no one wanted to name her. And I don't either. So she's just gonna remain nameless. She's not deserving of a name. I don't mean that in a mean way. I'm just being honest. This hat is a smaller version of the one I made for Slappy the Sloth when he dressed up as the Tutu Witch. You might think I'm making another Tutu Witch costume, but no. She's just gonna be a basic witch. For her stomach, I initially made a little pouch and fabric hot glued that on, which is fully functional. You can definitely add little things into there since I didn't hot glue the top down. I don't know what you would put in there since it's so tiny, but you know, it's there. The space is available and I think that's a nice touch. Adds functionality. The pouch was kinda random though. It doesn't fit my theme, so I've decided to add to it. I added on some handlebars. That way it can kinda be like a cauldron. Some of the fabric hot glue was showing. I wanted things to look more clean, so I added on some buttons as well. I know cauldrons don't typically have buttons, but it's kinda supposed to be like I sewed on a cauldron to this Squishmallow. It's a fake sewing look. I call it faux sew. That's the look I'm going for. I don't know if this cauldron looks enough like a cauldron though, so I've decided to add some bubbles. Typically cauldrons have green bubbling stuff coming out of them, so I thought this would make everything more clear. I was originally going to have this witch holding a broom, but I figured she can't possibly hold a cauldron and a broom at the same time. So instead I settled for a wooden ladle sticking out of the pot. Cute, cute. Her bow is made of a white glittery material, a little out of place for the dark side, so I'm cutting that off. I'm replacing it with a giant black bow, which is actually a little too big, so I'm trimming it to size.
Now I gotta do something about that hideous face.
You're not gonna?
No, I'm going to. I've gotta do something about it.
The sparkle eyes just weren't working for me. I whited them out completely, which I really do like. I feel it gives this like hollow, creepy feel, but that's not how I'm leaving things. I tried to give her an evil expression, but she ends up looking more welcoming than I wanted. She looks like she's just baked a freshly burnt mulberry pie. How thoughtful. Not every Squishmallow can be as inviting as the nameless witch.
Okay, at least we got a different one. I don't know which one's worse.
The next mystery Squishmallow I got is a lamb with wings and a horn. I think it's like a lamb alicorn or pegacorn. A llamacorn? A lamacorn? I'm sure one of you guys know the exact species. It seems I'm not as well versed as you guys. I'm working on it. Her blinding disco wings are an eyesore, so those are the first to go. Now she's no longer a llamacorn. She's just a regular lamb, or sheep, or whatever tickles your fancy. A bit of a spoiler. This Squishmallow ends up being my favorite makeover out of the 3. It's also the creepiest of the 3. I've outdone myself with this one. All the alicorn accessories I cut off left a scar behind, so I'm gonna have to cover those up. I had no idea how to cover up the bald spot on her head. I couldn't really think of anything except for a top hat, which is kinda random, but I think it works out in the end. I tried to hide the leftover hot glue residue with my Posca pen, just trying to make that all blend in and disappear. I fabric hot glued the top hat down, and now it's as though she was never bald in the first place. Good for her. I love making creepy cute characters with a voodoo aesthetic. I've done a lot of them over time. This is gonna be another one with that same voodoo doll vibe. Patches and stitches and all that good stuff. I messed around with the placement of things, trying to get things to look just right. Perfect. Once I had that finalized, I went around with some fabric hot glue to stick everything down into place. Fabric hot glue is not like regular hot glue. It's not very forgiving. Once you stick something down, it's not easy to rearrange things. There's some residue on this Squishmallow. Not sure how that happened. It wouldn't rub off, so I'm just learning to live with it. There's even some light residue on the face. What's going on? Am I doing this, or was it always like this? I have no idea. Maybe it's from the Posca pen. Just a guess. It's fine, it's fine. With this sheep, I'm going for an evil magician, warlock, goat kind of vibe. To make him look more like a goat and less like a sheep, I added a long goatee. Goats have beards, sheep don't, hence the facial hair. I also cut out and glued on some horns. Things are finally starting to come together. But something still has to be done about those eyes. Gross. I blacked them out and added in some whites to the eyes. They're supposed to be like goat eyes. That's why I gave them the horizontal pupils. That's too much white though. It seems I've turned them into division signs. So I'm gonna tone that down a notch. Actually, scratch that. One of the eyeballs is gonna be a button. There, fixes everything. I added a bit of dimension to the beard with some black fur, just a little touch to make him look more refined. And then I went around and did some more refining with fabric paint for the details. Some stripes for the horns, some stitches on the button eye. I wanted it to look sewn on, and a lot more stitches for the patches. Some people really want me to learn how to sew. I've picked up a lot of new skills since starting my channel. Sewing is not one of them, and it might never be one of them. I just don't really have a particular desire to pick up that skill. At least not yet anyway. Maybe one day, but I wouldn't hold your breath. This llamacorn started off so disgustingly cute. We've definitely come a long way. I was skeptical. I didn't know if I'd be able to pull this off, especially seeing how freakishly cute it started out. But hey, look where we've ended up. I think this might just be one of my favorite Squishmallows I've ever customized. Subscribe if you agree. Also, subscribe if you don't agree. Thank you. The last Squishmallow I got is the most cursed of them all. It's a tie-dye sloth with those same creepy eyes, a glittery disco ball belly, and a 5 o'clock shadow. She's just one ugly chicken nugget. First things first, I gotta evacuate that disco. I chose this sand kind of color, but ultimately switched to some pink felt. I thought it matched with the rest of her a little better. I really just wanted to tone down her look. It was a little too out there, even for me. Come back to earth, sweetie. She's looking like way too much of a sparkle bud. She might not be able to be saved. But I'm gonna try. I'm thinking about her being like the grumpy sloth's girlfriend. He's been lonely. He's got no one by his side, probably because of how grumpy he always is. So yeah, I figured he could use some company, a girlfriend, to soften out those rough edges. She's obviously not edgy enough for the grumpy sloth though, so I'm making her a leather jacket. I wanted to give her like a biker girl aesthetic. She doesn't have any limbs, no arms, no legs, no anything. So the arms of the jacket are just gonna be empty and flapping around in the wind, of which there's none in my apartment, but you know what I mean. I think it still works. The next thing she needs is a beanie to match with her boyfriend. They're going for a matchy-matchy look. Clearly this wasn't Grumpy Sloth's idea. I have this black shirt of my fiance's that I've cut up before for something, though I don't remember what. Today I'm stealing a bit of the sleeve to make a beanie for this hideous sloth. I like the contrast she has going on. She looks very goody two-shoes-ish, but then she has a bad to the bone aesthetic, and I like that. Finally getting around to changing those eyes of hers. I gave her the same look as the Good Witch. Nothing too crazy, keeping things cohesive. When I first saw these revoltingly sparkly Squishmallows, I had no idea what I would do with them, but ultimately I'm pretty happy with how things turned out. I'd say it's a win in my book.
Subscribe, please. My days are numbered.